Have you lost someone really special in your life recently or ever? Probably the two worst, I believe, is your spouse or a partner, but even worse than that is a mother or a father in some cases. But for me, definitely my mother. Maybe you can relate. Because as you get older, inevitably, these things become more frequent, unfortunately. Unfortunately, sometimes you get more losses in your life than you get pluses. Does that mean anything? I don't know. But that's what I want to talk about today. Maybe you can relate that grief is such a dynamic process. I used to think it was just a little bit, a few days. I know that sounds very superficial, but when we're young, grief usually revolves around maybe acquaintances and people that we don't really know very well. A distant relative, an uncle, someone we didn't know very well. So the feelings of grief were not that deep. And not that it wasn't significant or important. It's just you didn't have as much invested in it as the others in your life, like parents or a spouse. You know, my mom passed away 2 years ago. Yeah, it's been about 2 years. And when I think about it, actually, no, I didn't think about it. But today I started adding up the years, and I realized that I had known her for 68 years. Think about that. 68 years. The longest human that I've ever known. So besides the traditional stuff with, a parent and a mother losing a parent, I also lost a 68-year-old friend. And that doesn't happen a lot in life, right? I'm going to have to live a lot longer. So it's on my list. I'm just going to let you know it's on my list to add at least 40 or 50 more years to my life so that I can get that or find that relationship level with someone, right? I don't know. So why am I talking about this today? Well, I kind of had a trigger. And that's what grief is about. Let's talk about triggers and grief. Grief is definitely a process, which I really didn't know until I had someone pass that it took a while to process. And here I'm thinking, oh, big brave person, I've been able to get through this and get through my life and not be too damaged by it. But that isn't the case at all. Like I said, grief is a process, and I think of it almost like the waves of an ocean. And sometimes the tide comes in and it's pretty heavy, right? It's pretty deep. The tide comes in and it's way in. And then the tide goes out and you're okay for a while. It's safe. Everybody goes back on the beach, has fun, plays, and everything's normal. We're out there sunning and tanning yourself. And then a wave comes in. Like a tsunami. Like a tsunami. Yeah, I just had a little tsunami. And you know why? Triggers could be anything. They could be anything. Walking down the Hallmark aisle in your grocery store, right, at cards, that's a trigger. Visiting a place that maybe you were at with them many times, that's a trigger. Today it was for me, was listening to a report and someone talk about, about some of the political processes here in our country. And my mom and I used to talk about that a lot. And only because she would come to me and ask me my opinion and get a little bit of insight of what's going on and all. And since she and I are both immigrants to this country, we came from Italy, so her English wasn't that great, though she understood well. But you know how it is, we could communicate as only a mother and daughter could. So here I was thinking all this time that I was helping her, and today I realized that she was helping me. Children, we're a horrible breed at times, aren't we? We're so disrespectful, right? And that was me. So that's it. That's another little life lesson I'll have to do a video on, right? That we as children, boy, we kind of suck at times. And do you know how we get repaid, or do you know how we pay back those terrible things and feelings that we've had of rebellion and just flicking off our parents? Is that we have children that do the same to us. Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Nowadays I send a text, to my grandsons. And, I'm lucky if I get a response back a couple months later. And I used to take it personal. And then I found out they all do that. Anyhow. So grief. That is something that all of us, I think after the age of 50 or so, 50 or 60, that we all will be experiencing on a deeper level than we have in our past. And it's good to know that you're not alone. And also, if it means anything, and if you have been fortunate enough not to go through that process yet, know that when you do, is you take each moment a moment at a time. And that moments are just that. They're just the tide coming in, or the wave. And you just hold on. You find your little lifesaver or something to float on. It could be a friend or someone that you talk to. And you just float and you just hang there for a while. Because at times it does feel like drowning. It really does. You feel kind of lost. I mean, when you think of the gravity of it, and I do. There are times that the gravity gets to me. And then I go out and get my little floaty. It could be a friend. It could be you. It could be me right now talking to you. And I float back up and I just hang on till the wave passes. And just know that the wave shall pass. So hang in there. If you have someone that you've lost, someone that you've loved dearly in your life, it's a process. It's a process. We'll go through it. And all we can do is really just hold hands together at times and say, we're going to be okay. Hang on. We're going to be okay. Take a deep breath. Breathe. Sending you my light and love.